Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 4.
Two Fargo men are facing federal robbery charges. United States Attorney Drew Wrigley announced that 20-year-old Harley Haugen and 21-year-old Jordan Kraft were indicted by a grand jury. The indictment alleges that in the summer of 2019, Haugen and Kraft conspired with a group to rob potential customers of commercial sex. 6 others are awaiting trial in connection to this case. And Fargo police are still investigating a slew of shootings that happened on Halloween night. Police are now saying the incident that happened on the 800 block of 12th Street North was an accident. A gun was said to have been fired accidentally, hitting a man in the abdomen. The police report cited reckless endangerment, and charges are going to the state attorney's office for consideration. The injured man is going to be okay. And we now know the name of the man found dead in the Red River last week. Authorities say the victim is 63-year-old Terry Melting of Fargo, who was reported as missing. His body was found on Friday afternoon in the Red River near 60th Avenue and 7th Street Southwest. He was taken to the Ramsey County Medical Examiner's office for an autopsy. The Sheriff's Department says no foul play is suspected. And tomorrow is Election Day, and deadlines for voting absentee are here. We'll tell you how you can make your last-minute vote and make sure it counts in just a moment. But first, let's get a quick look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hey, Hutch, how are you?
You know what? I am fantastic now that wind has settled down to under, say, 50 miles per hour. What a lovely way to start the work week, and temperatures are on their way up as well. Crystal clear skies up and down the valley showing up here on the satellite. And here's a look at those wind speeds. Under 15 miles per hour. Look out in Jamestown. It's 3 miles per hour out of the west right now. You can get away with no hairspray with winds like that. Temperatures in the 50s in central Minnesota now. 60s in eastern North Dakota. Look at the central part of the state. 70s in Bismarck and Minot. Here in the FM area, this evening's temperatures will slip quickly into those 40s. It does look quiet wind-wise and clear all evening long. Grand Forks, likewise, beautiful weather is going to continue. I'll have your Election Day outlook so you know exactly what to expect whatever time you're heading out to the polls here in just one moment. And we're going to look ahead at a pretty potent storm system that could really change this stretch of decent weather we're going to have. I'll have all of that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. And if you still have a ballot to return, you need to act fast. There are some approaching deadlines you need to know about. Mail-in votes for North Dakota must be postmarked by today to count. And if you choose to return an absentee ballot by hand, it should be in the secure box before 5 o'clock. If you're dropping a ballot off last minute, take it into the post office and ask them to hand mark it. This ensures the vote is postmarked the same day. And Minnesota's deadline to receive absentee ballots is 8 p.m. on Election Day. You have until 3 p.m. tomorrow to hand in your ballot yourself, and to do that you need to visit the election office that sent the ballot. Minnesotans cannot drop off ballots at their polling location on Election Day. However, you can still drop off your ballots at your local election office or vote in person. And parking in downtown Fargo just got a bit easier. A new parking garage is opening today, adding 367 parking spots on 5th Street North. The garage is part of a project that will include 100 new apartments in commercial and retail space. And like the other downtown garages, parking is free on the weekends and after 5 p.m. on weekdays. And with COVID cases steadily rising in the metro, Fargo Public Schools is taking another 2 weeks to consider bringing students back to the classroom full-time. This morning, the FPS COVID-19 Task Force voted to keep high school students in the hybrid model until the end of the semester. That's January 19th of 2021. FPS elementary students will stay in their current 4-day in-person model. In the first draft of the plan, FPS middle school students would be phased back into the classroom. 6th graders would come back full-time on November 30th, 7th graders on December 14th, and 8th graders on January 19th. And the next COVID-19 Task Force meeting is November 16th at 6:30 a.m. And NDSU has found a way to help keep students from going hungry. The Campus Food Insecurity Task Force has partnered with a national fund to help students who are still being affected by the pandemic. The Swipe Out Hunger program allows students facing temporary food shortages to charge dining center meals to their ID card. Funding for the program comes from grants and donations, and you can donate to the program at ndsufoundation.com/foodsecurityfund. And one person is dead after a single car crash near Detroit Lakes. Sergeant Jesse Grabo with the Minnesota State Patrol says the crash happened this morning on Highway 34 east of Detroit Lakes. Authorities say one person was in the vehicle. They're not giving out any more information at this time. And Minnesota corrections officials say an inmate in the Stillwater prison died after testing positive for COVID-19. The 61-year-old man who died yesterday morning is the third COVID-related death of an inmate in the Minnesota State Correctional Facilities. So far, more than 750 of the nearly 1,300 inmates at Stillwater have tested positive. Prison officials are investigating the death and infrastructure of the Stillwater facility to see if that's a factor in this rapid spread of COVID. And the South Dakota Secretary of Safety announced that the state attorney general was distracted before running over a pedestrian in September. In a press conference today, Secretary Greg Price said 55-year-old Joseph Beaver was carrying a light while walking on the side of the road at night, the night he was killed. Price did not describe what led Attorney General Jason Ravensborg to be distracted. Price says the investigation is still waiting on numerous reports, including a coroner's summary and toxicology results. And it's the last day on the campaign trail, and it's a busy one, with the president just barely trailing the polls. We'll tell you what the campaigns are doing to attract last-minute voters. Next on Valley News Live at 4.
And so far on this Monday, we've enjoyed temperatures in the mid-50s across western Minnesota and mid-60s in eastern North Dakota. Our awesome stretch of weather continues on. Details on what you can expect as you're heading off to the polls coming up right after this.